Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Combustion Gamer YouTube channel and NASCAR Heat 5 Florida Racing. So, I had recorded this video and let me tell you one thing, it turned out really good. Except the audio, my specific audio, totally disappeared. So we're not going to be able to hear what I said, which is rather unfortunate because this race and the next race lost my audio to it, and it ended up being two weird but really cool races, and I really enjoyed the races while they were happening, but unfortunately for some reason audio decided to not work. So what we're going to be doing, guys, is on both of these videos that are coming up, we're going to be doing highlights, so we'll see how this works. But yeah, I think the third video I did when I got the audio fixed, which is the cup race, I was rather deflated because, one, I put all that work in the first two videos, and then, of course, we ended up having that issue where it just ended up being no audio. So, yeah, rather deflating. So, now we're coming back at these videos, and we're going to be trying to react to them live here as we watch them. So, totally different style of video today, but hopefully it'll be interesting. So, let's get into the race here. Alrighty guys, so here we go racing at Chicagoland Raceway. So got 3 races of this racetrack going on here, and so I had not raced at this track in a very long time, NASCAR Heat 5, and so going into it, I was like, whoa, this is a totally different track, because in entering turn 1, you have a bit of a bump with a groove going on there, and so it made the truck and the Xfinity and Cup cars drive very interestingly through there. But then I'd also forgotten going through here that this particular track has a curved backstretch. I had forgotten about that, so that was really cool to race. But I mean, it was fast. It was a fast-paced racetrack, which once I got into a good groove, I really started to enjoy, and the rest of the race ended up being really good. But yeah, I was just trying to kind of figure out how fast to run this track. I was kind of really wearing down my front right tire there for the first part of the race, and it was a very fast track, and so I kind of had to get used to how fast my truck was going, and then be able to check up and not hit the trucks in front of me quite as much, be able to know when I needed to turn down to go under them, etc. And so it made for a very interesting race all the way throughout. But yeah, I can't tell you how much fun it was to race this track again after not racing it for a while, because I had totally forgotten how much fun this track is. It's a lot of fun. Then we came back, guys, for stage 2, and so we had pitted. I think I'd seen somebody veer off onto pit road. They had some sort of mechanical issue, and I was like, who in the world was that? I was thinking it was Ross Chastain, but then Ross Chastain pops up in the top 10 later on in the video. I was like, well, where did he come from? But one thing that you're going to see throughout this race is that Zane Smith was the guy leading the entire race for the most part. Obviously, here in the start of stage 1, I got the lead, but really my truck, it would start off fast, but then it really would slow down throughout the rest of the run. It might pick up a little bit of speed later on, but it was really a short run truck. And Zane Smith, I mean, he was just a rocket ship. I mean, obviously he's behind me right now, but I mean, once his truck turned on, being a long run truck that it was, he would rocket up there into the lead and just take it away, and he would leave me and everybody else in the dust. And so that kept happening throughout the race, because I mean, you see him right here. I mean, I'm losing traction, and he's already going back to the lead. His speed's finally kicked in, and he is taken off. I mean, it was interesting to watch how fast he was at this track. I mean, and I think I commented on it as well. It's just like, hey, he's doing the same thing that he did last year. I mean, as I said, last year in the Cup Series, Truck Series, he did a really good job just being so fast and just dominating the Truck Series. I mean, he did a really good job. Obviously won the championship, and certainly well deserved. I mean, very stereotypical behavior exhibited here in this particular race as was last year. So that was pretty interesting to take a note of while racing this race. So that was pretty cool. So here we go into stage 3, and starting side by side with Zane Smith. Once again, short run truck. It starts off really good. I have a lot of good traction into the turns. The truck feels really good. And then just later on in the run, you're going to see Zane Smith just come right on by me, and just going to take the thing back over again. I mean, it was fascinating to watch this happen just over and over again. It just I'm not sure. I mean, the truck was 100 spec on the engine, aerodynamics, and the suspension. But I mean, still, even with that, and I consider myself fairly good racing-wise where I have the settings right now. I have it at a good point where the AI is still competitive. In fact, I might need to actually boost that up a little bit higher to give myself a little bit more of a challenge. But I mean, you just see this. I mean, by lap, I think we're on lap 2 after the restart, Zane Smith is already coming back up and passing me. That's how fast he was in this race. So I'm not sure if there's a setup issue with the truck, and that was just causing me not to have as much speed. But I mean, the truck felt good. It felt fast. But still, Zane Smith able to just continuously get by me, and for the most part actually be able to gain on me once he got past. I mean, it's just, he was fast. I don't know what the AI was doing there, but it was just really fun to actually see. It's like, hey, I'm getting left in the dust. I don't know why I'm being left in the dust, but I am. And it's just, it was a fun race. It was very fun. And then you started getting pit strategy coming in as well. And I actually matched his pit strategy. In fact, let's go ahead and get to that point here. So here we go. We got the tires, so they're about to blow. We got the fuel, that's like 1 lap. And so we have a few people pitting, not very many. And I mean, you see, I actually had gotten past Zane Smith, actually had taken the lead again. That was because there was actually a slow truck on the backstretch. And obviously the NASCAR officials didn't throw the caution as usual. But I mean, this was interesting because this was the smoothest transition I have ever had onto a pit lane. I lost a ton of time to Zane Smith behind me, but that was the smoothest transition I think I've ever had getting onto pit road on a green flag pit stop. And so obviously went through what I wanted to do on the strategy and stuff for the fuel, and ended up having the right amount of fuel and stuff and everything. I don't think I adjusted anything with tape or the wedge the entire race, but yeah. And then this is interesting. So came down pit crew, Zane Smith is right ahead of me, and so I'm pretty hyper because I'm like, hey guys, we need to get out, because when I was slow getting on the pit road, that gave him a whole lot of time. But then you just see this, everybody leaves before me, and then I kind of get slowed up there by Austin Hill, and we both leave. We're all leaving at the same time, but Zane Smith, I mean, he is just going away. He's just disappearing there. And I'm like, no, if I can't get him now, I'm not going to get him ever, because that's how fast he is. Because I mean, look at that gap. I mean, he's already gotten me really well in the gap, and it was just like, no, I just lost it. And so it was really, I wish I had the original audio, because it was such a fun, chaotic, and I think I had too many cups of coffee, but it was just, my reaction to it as it was going on was just so good. I mean, it was probably one of the best video reactions I've ever done while racing. And even the second video was not quite there, but it was pretty high as well, just because I think I had a caffeine rush going on. But it was just really good. And this race overall was just really fun. I mean, the track was just fun to race. And I just wish I had that audio for you, because it was really good. And I think I had a few funny moments too, where I was just coming up with some stuff that was kind of interesting. But anyways, but yeah, it's just, you just see him, how far he is away, and it's like, I'm just not catching him. And I'm just like, no, I'm not catching him. It was kind of a bummer. I mean, yeah, and I start watching the leaderboard here, trying to see if I'm catching anything on him. And I think I'm ever so slightly getting 1/10 of a second. And then the caution came out right there. Yeah, I thought that was going to come up. But yeah, the caution came out right there. This is my only chance on this restart. He's on the pole position on the inside lane. So obviously, short run truck, 2-lap overtime. Second lap is where he comes flying past me normally. So here we go on the restart. And so I know, it's like, this is my only chance. I've got to get in front of him. And luckily, once again, he's slow on his restart. That gets me the lead. So I just got to be the best that I can be. Make sure that my entry into the corners is smooth. Because one thing I had to do is that if I entered full speed, I was constantly running up the track. In the turns, I was totally tearing up my tires, so I had to constantly be letting off the throttle for quite a bit. I think I had, watching here, yeah, I got to drop down to like 155 miles an hour before I can make the turn correctly. So that's what I was having to do each lap to be a good consistent lap time and keep the tires good. And you see here behind me, he's already starting to catch me just a little bit on that front stretch. And so for some reason right through here you can kind of see he's not really getting a run. And so that's his speed, for whatever reason, did not kick in this time. It didn't kick in for him. He's closing on me just a little bit. But about this time right here, you see him catch a little bit up in the mirror. And right here, I knew that I was going to win it because he just didn't have the speed that he had before. So it was just like, it was a very intense race between me and Zane Smith because he had just been so good. And the consistency of him getting that speed afterwards was just incredible. And so that ended up being a really, really fun race, and then obviously ended up burning it down in front of the Chicagoland Speedway fans, and it ended up being a very fun race, and I really enjoyed it. So as I said, I still wish I had the audio because that original audio was really good, but yeah, it ended up just getting destroyed basically. So it's kind of a bummer, but you'll probably hear about. I'll probably go in more depth. No, I did go in depth with the Cup Series race because I was recording all of these in one day, so you're going to hear my... I really got deflated after that because, I mean, 2 great races, 2 great audio tracks that I did, because I always record my audio in a separate track to make sure that I can go back and edit it, and it just ended up not being... Yeah, it was really a bummer that those had gotten messed up, so you're going to hear that I get really deflated after that. But yeah, and then you see right here, went back to the race results. Obviously, I win. Zane Smith got both of the stage wins, so he got himself 2 playoff points, so that's really important for him. Austin Hill, Ross Chastain up there, Grant Enfinger, Natalie Decker. That was... I had a very funny joke about that because of something that happened in one of the turns. But obviously that audio's gone, and I don't remember what it said, but it was... at the time, it was hilarious because it made a lot of sense. And then this was interesting. I went through and checked out the merch payout. I think that was in the Xfinity race, actually. But I was staring at that for a second. I was like, wait a minute. What's going on with that? And so actually, let me, as this continues to cycle through here, let me do that real quick. So a NASCAR t-shirt is about $30. And so I made $100,000 in the merch tent right there. So let me do the math for you here again. So $100,000, a little bit more, and then divide that by 30. And so just at Chicagoland for the truck race, I sold 3,333 NASCAR t-shirts. That's how much that rounds up to. So, I mean, that is a huge fan base that's buying t-shirts. That is insane. That's not even thinking about stickers, hats, anything else. That is just the t-shirts, and that blew my mind, the math on that. But anyways, had a great celebration with the guys there at Chicagoland. Ended up being a great race, but I mean, you see there, Zane Smith had the fastest lap of the race, led most of the laps of the race. He just dominated it, and obviously went from 31st to 1st, but that's just how I do this series. And so anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that race with my commentary. Obviously, it's just the highlights. It's not the full race. I wish I had that original audio, but I don't. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you have liked and subscribed. And obviously, the Xfinity race, got to do the highlight reel, this style of video with that to be able to get you caught up on what happened during that, because that was kind of interesting. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys here next time with the next race, which is Xfinity. Bye-bye.